the Classic Cypher Harmonic Pattern Indicator, which is offered for various platforms on the TradingFinder website. From this section, you can download the indicator file for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 platforms and run it on the chart. Additionally, traders can read this page to understand how the indicator works and functions. We select the indicator file from the Navigator section and execute the indicator by dragging the file onto the chart. Once the indicator is activated on the chart, it begins to identify and draw the Cypher Harmonic Pattern on the SAS price chart. Traders can use the Classic Cypher Harmonic Pattern Indicator and technical analysis to conduct more specialized analyses on the chart and identify the probable price reversal zone, or the PRZ, potential reversal zone, based on the harmonic pattern, where in this pattern, point D is considered our PRZ. In the settings section and under the input part, there are options available for us. In the first part, we can set the minimum wavelength, which is set to 5 by default. Here we can choose the period, length of the zigzag lines, which is hard-coded as a 3-3 zigzag period in the calculation section. We can only adjust the first part, 1, of the zigzag lines here. If I set the number to 10, it will be calculated as 10, 3, 3, or if I set it to 5, it will be calculated as a period of 5, 3, 3. In the next section, we can determine the number of candles for identifying and calculating the pivots of the harmonic pattern, which is set to 100 by default. This means from point D, it goes back 100 candles, boom, to identify point C. If it identifies the Fibonacci ratio within these 100 candles, it considers point D. Again, from point C to point B, it goes back 100 candles. If the pivot identifies the Fibonacci ratio, it sets point B and then calculates from B to A and from A to X in the same manner. In the next section, we can enable or disable the display of harmonic pattern lines. In the next section, we can enable or disable the settings related to pounds pivot break. If this option is set to on, it will not consider the breaks that occur for the pivot. For example, here point A has been broken downward for us, yet the harmonic pattern has been drawn for us. If we set the pivot break option to false, we can determine the distance between the harmonic pivot point and the break pivot point in the lower section, which is set to 100 pipettes by default. We see that, if we set it to false, if the distance is more than 100 pipettes, the harmonic pattern will not be identified for us, and the pattern will not be drawn. If I set it to 1000 pipettes here, the pattern is identified for me, and the break difference ratio is between 1 pipette and 1000 pipettes. In the next section, there is the shift option, which we can use as a confirmation for the harmonic pattern. If we set this option to 0, with the closing of the candle, it examines and displays the harmonic pattern. If other numbers are set, for example, the default number here is 2. After the formation of the harmonic pattern and the closing of the candle, it moves 2 candles forward and then examines the harmonic pattern. In the next 2 sections, we can enable or disable the display of bullish and bearish harmonic patterns. In the next section, we can determine the drawing style of the harmonic pattern, which includes 5 options: solid, dash, dot, dash dot, and dash dot dot. In the following section, we can set the size of the harmonic pattern lines. And if this option is set to more than 1, the drawn lines will automatically be in solid mode. And in the last section, we can change the color of the bearish harmonic pattern, the color of the bullish harmonic pattern, and finally, the color of the harmonic pattern labels to any desired color. Please note that in the MetaTrader 5 platform, pivots are used instead of candles, and this section uses pivots for calculations. The value we enter here is the value of the pivots. In the next section, in MetaTrader 4, it is a candle that examines 100 candles, and if the Fibonacci ratio is among these 100 candles, it considers the points D to C, C to B, B to A, and A to X. However, in MetaTrader 5, it is in the form of pivots, meaning it examines the pivots. By default, in MetaTrader 5, the number 10 is set, which examines 10 pivots, and if the Fibonacci ratio is among these 10 pivots, it draws the pattern. Keep in mind that if you set a high number for the zigzag period in MetaTrader 5, and also set a high number for the pivot, the identified pattern will be a very large harmonic pattern and won't be very useful. So it's better to use appropriate and smaller ratios. Well, friends, we have reached the end of this indicator tutorial. I would be happy if you share your comments about and suggestions with us in the comment section.